Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm excited to take you on a journey through one of Southeast Asia's most fascinating countries, Vietnam. With, oops, with a history stretching over thousands of years, a rich heritage, and a powerful story of resilience, Vietnam has truly shaped the world we know today. So let's dive into its incredible journey from ancient civilizations to the modern nation we see today. Starting with ancient Vietnam. The earliest known state in Vietnam was called the Van Lang Kingdom, ruled by the legendary Hung kings. Although this the history was wait, Although much of its history is based on a legend rather than evidence, the Hung kings are considered the founders of the Vietnamese nation. They are highly respected in the Vietnamese culture to this day. According to legend, the Vietnamese people are descendants of a dragon lord named Lac Long Quan and a fairy goddess named Ao Ko. They had 100 children and are believed to be the ancestors of the Vietnamese people. This myth emphasizes Vietnam's deep connection with mountains, rivers, and the sea. The Dongson culture, which appeared around 1000 BC, is known for its incredible works, especially the Dongson drum. These drums are not only musical instruments but also symbols of power and spiritual life. The Dongson people were skilled farmers who grew rice. They lived near valleys, which provided them fertile land and easy access to trade and travel. Life in ancient Vietnam were closely tied to rivers. Small tribal communities grew rice and fish and traded along these waterways. The society was divided into clans, and cooperation between these groups was essential for survival. Now I'll be moving on to the next era, Chinese domination. Starting in 111 BC, Vietnam fell under the Chinese control. It remained under the rule of different Chinese dynasties for almost 1,000 years, making it one of the longest periods of foreign rule in Vietnam. During this period, the Chinese introduced Confucianism, the Chinese writing skills, and architectural styles. They also brought a centralized government model. Many aspects of traditional Vietnamese culture still show traces of the Chinese influence. However, the Vietnamese did not accept foreign rule. The most famous example of resistance were led by the Trung sisters. A mini story. Around the year 40 AD, the Trung sisters were named Trung Trak and Trung Ni, led a rebellion against the Chinese rule. After Trung Trak's husband was killed by the Chinese governor, the Trung sisters gathered an army of 80,000 people, many of them women. They rode with elephants into battle, leading troops with incredible courage. For a short time, these women were also ruled over Vietnam as queens before eventually being defeated by a Chinese commander. Rather than being captured, legends say that the sisters sacrificed themselves by jumping into a river, becoming symbols of loyalty and resistance. Dis- Despite adopting a lot of Chinese practices, the Vietnamese people maintained a distinct language, customs, and a strong sense of national identity, which later fueled their successful fight for independence. Next, we're going to independent dynasty. After nearly 1,000 years under Chinese rule, Vietnam finally regained its independence when leader Ngo Nguyen defeated the Chinese at the Battle of Bac Dang River in 939 AD. He used clever tactics like planting iron tipped stakes in the rivers to trap the enemy ships when the tide went out. This victory is considered the official beginning of independent Vietnam. After defeating China, Vietnam was ruled by powerful dynasties such as Li, Tran, and Lê dynasties. These dynasties built strong governments, expanded the Vietnam border southward, and promoted Buddhism with art and architecture. During the Tran dynasty, Vietnam faced huge Mongol invasions led by Kublai Khan's forces. Despite being smaller, General Trang Hung Dao led an army and successfully defended their country through smart tactics and strong unity. Just like Mo Nguyen centuries earlier, General Trang Hun Dao planted wooden stakes in the river to trap the enemies when the tides went out. This was a major achievement because at that time the Mongols were conquering most of the world. During these dynasties, Confucianism became the foundation of the Vietnamese government and education. Officials had to pass a civil rights exams based on Confucian ideas. This created a class of educated scholars who helped run the country. Moving on to the French colonization. France began its invasion in Vietnam in 1858 using military forces and superior weapons. By 1884, France had fully taken control over Vietnam, making it a French colony. It marked the beginning of almost 70 years of foreign rule. Vietnam wasn't ruled over alone. The French grouped Vietnam together with Laos and Cambodia to make a larger colony and named it French Indochina. French built railroads, cities. Yes, they built many things, but they exploited resources and people. While the French built amazing infrastructure, they did it to benefit themselves. They took Vietnam's rice, rubber, and minerals and benefited France, while many Vietnamese people were forced to work under terrible conditions. At this point, the Vietnamese resistance grew stronger. Nationalist leaders started fighting for independence, inspiring ordinary people to dream of a free Vietnam once again. During this time, two key figures led the fight for Vietnam's independence: Phan Boi Chau and Phan Chu Trinh. Phan Boi Chau was a passionate revolutionary. He traveled to China and Japan to seek the support for a Vietnamese uprising, inspiring ordinary people with his vision of a free nation. Meanwhile, Fan Shu Trin focused on education, believing that learning and modern reforms were the path to freedom. Although these two men had very different methods, they both shared the same goal: Vietnam free from foreign rule. In 1954, after years of fighting to maintain control, France was finally defeated at the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. The battle, which took place in a valley in northern Vietnam, marked the end of French colonial rule. The victory of the Vietnamese forces, led by General Vo Nguyen Giap, forced France to leave the country and sign the Geneva Accords, which divided Vietnam into two parts temporarily. It divided Vietnam into the communist north, led by Ho Chi Minh, and the anti communist south, backed by the United States. This division was supposed to be temporary only until elections could be held to unify the country, but that never happened. So it sparked the Vietnam War, with the United States supporting the South with the United States supporting South Vietnam, fearing the spread of communism. The North Vietnam, along with the Viet Cong, fought to reunify Vietnam. This war was brutal and really devastating, with heavy losses on all sides. Over 3 million people lost their lives, half of them being Vietnamese civilians and over 58,000 American soldiers. After nearly 20 years of intense conflict, North Vietnam finally achieved victory in 1975. The capital Saigon fell under the North Vietnamese forces, and the country was officially unified under a communist government as the Social Republic of Vietnam. Now, Vietnam is one of Asia's fastest growing countries today. It has come a long way since the war years, with booming industries and the rising middle class. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, these two cities are the heart of Vietnam's energy. Hanoi has a more traditional charm, while Ho Chi Minh seems very fast paced and modern, with both innovation and business. Believe it or not, Vietnam comes second when in export of coffee, right before Brazil, right behind Brazil. Their fun fact: their robusta beans are the reason for the Vietnamese famous iced coffee. Even with all the changes, Vietnam still holds on to its roots. There, the biggest celebration is about family, food, and welcoming the new year with good luck. It is easy to see why, between the breathtaking nature, the historical sites, and amazing food, Vietnam is becoming a favorite for tourists all over the world. Before I end this presentation, I want to show you a few pictures I took during my visit to Vietnam, showing how Vietnam's rich history and vibrant present come together. The Ngoc Sun Temple, located on Jade Island, honors Vietnam's national heroes and is accessible via the iconic Red Hug Bridge. The legend of the golden turtle and the magical sword are central to the history of the Hoan Kiem Lake, symbolizing Vietnam's fight for independence. Built by the French colonies, St. Joseph's Cathedral in Hanoi is modeled after, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Notre Dame de Paris. And it is one of the oldest Christian sites in Vietnam. The historical Hoa Lo prison, or also known as Hanoi Hilton, tells us the story of Vietnam's struggle for independence during the French colonization and the imprisonment of American POWs during the Vietnam War. This is the Independence Palace. This is where the tanks iconically crashed through the gates in 1975. Um, they crashed through the gates in 1975, marking the end of the Vietnam War and the reunification of the country. It was located in the capital, Saigon, which has changed its name to Ho Chi Minh after the Vietnam War. Now, let's look at some modern landmarks. Chua Tam Tai, an ancient one pillar pagoda near the Golden Bridge, offers peaceful views of the surrounding mountains and natures. I visited Min An, Hoi An ancient town. It is an area with lantern lit streets, historic houses, and blends of culture. The Bana Hills is a mountaintop resort which is famous for the cable cars and the French style villages. The Chum Ling Ong is home to the 67-meter tall statue of the goddess of mercy, making it one of the largest statues in Vietnam. That Char River is a vital waterway for the local agriculture and fishing, providing life and sustenance to the northern communities. The iconic, stunning Golden Bridge in Da Nang, held by two giant hands, is a modern symbol of Vietnam's tourism. To conclude my session, Vietnam is a land shaped by centuries of resilience and culture. From ancient dynasties to rising modern nation, a country that honors its past while embracing the future. I'm so happy that I got to share my knowledge of Vietnam with you guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please ask.
Students, please ask a question. Now it's Q&A. Please.
Onyo, yes, you may ask. Your hand is raised.
Ma'am, my ma'am, the hand raising has issue. That's why I can't lower it.
Okay, okay. So, Kashmira, you have a question. Your hand is also raised. Do you have
Yeah.
a question? Yeah, please ask.
So, Noura, you've been to Vietnam, right?
Yes, I went there 2 years ago.
What makes Vietnam special on your opinion?
What makes Vietnam special? It was like what made it special, in my opinion, when I visited Vietnam, I didn't expect this diverse of this beautiful of a culture. When I went there, I was really impressed by the rich heritage and all. I went to Hanoi first, which had a traditional charm, so I got to see a lot of historic and a lot of sites which represented Vietnam's history. So then when I saw it, it's what impressed me. It's because I don't know. I just got when I went there, I was really impressed by the culture. So then I wanted to learn more about it. And when I learned more about it, it made it even more beautiful knowing the story behind each uh, cultural sites and places. Did I answer your question well?
Yeah.
Any more questions? I think I went a bit too fast with my presentation. So if anyone has any doubts with the previous slides, you can ask.
Students, the future school students will get points for asking the questions. So if we have any question, please ask her.
Can I ask a question? Ma'am, I have a question.
Ask.
Yeah, so when you went to Vietnam, what would have been like your top two or top three favorite places that you visited?
Great question. My favorite places was probably Bana Hills. Wait, I'll show you. Because Bana Hills was like more of like an amusement place. This is Bana Hills. So it was everything was built like it was all like French stuff. It was a French village, French area, everything with a bunch of French people. It's basically a French village. And right near Bana Hills was this golden bridge. You can't see much in this photo because we couldn't take it from afar and it was foggy, but you should search Golden Bridge and see the actual picture of it. It is really beautiful. These
So
two
which
are
places
my
do
favorite
you
places.
recommend to people that are going to Vietnam? Which places do you recommend that like they
Recommend.
should see?
Oh, if you want to like go and have more fun and like enjoy, like not have means, because Bana Hills, like I said, is like an amusement place. So there's a bunch of rides and
So that
stuff,
would be
playing
fun.
areas. Yes.
So how about for
Or
historical?
yeah, for historical, you can go to Hoi An ancient town because everything there is like historic. There are historical houses, lot of lanterns, and it's all there is amazing Vietnamese food. So that you could go there, or if you want to know more about the war and stuff, there is the Hoa Lo prison. It was a prison, but they turned it into a museum and showed how the Vietnamese people had to suffer. There was the original guillotine. You know the guillotine, the thing that the French used to chop people's heads.
Yeah.
There was the original guillotine there in that museum, which was also very interesting, but very sad to witness.
This.
Those are my recommendations.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
No, can I ask because I raised my hand?
Ask someone.
Yeah. Like my question, who's the current president of Vietnam?
Oh, I did not look into that. I will get you the answer 1 second. The current president, right?
Yeah.
The current president of Vietnam is, give me 1 second. The current Vietnam, oh, sorry, the current president of Vietnam is, um, the current president in Vietnam is General Lu Rong Khu Rong. He was elected by the National Assembly on October 21st, 2024.
Okay.
So
So
that's a
I
very
have another question.
Go
My
ahead.
next question is, where did you stay when you go to Vietnam?
Hmm, another nice question. I went to three main cities. I went to Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was our national leader. Ho Chi Minh's former name was Saigon, which was the capital of South Vietnam. But after the Vietnam War, they changed the name to Ho Chi Minh City. I
Oh,
stayed at random hotels. I went like in Hanoi. I spent only 2 days. I spent most of my trip in Da Nang, which the Golden Bridge is in Da Nang, Tacha River is Da Nang, Bana Hills is Da Nang. Many of these places are Da Nang. And then I finally went to Ho Chi Minh City. At that time, I stayed at my mother's friend's house, but there is where I went to like. There's more places. These aren't the only places I went to. I just didn't wasn't
yeah.
able to fit everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just
My
stayed like that.
next question, I have another question. That
Go
question is,
ahead.
what was the place which you had the most fun on?
Bana Hills. Definitely Bana Hills. After I went to Bana Hills, the next day I lost my voice because I think I had a bit too much fun. So I couldn't speak the next day. I lost my voice. It's like amusement, like it's all fun stuff. And there's like a dance thing as well. Like these people would wear roller skates and dance around with music and stuff, which is really
Yeah.
fun to watch.
How long did the Vietnam War go for?
The Vietnam War was for 20 years. It started after the French left, which was in 1954. The war started in 1950. No, the war started in 1958 and then ended in 1975, which is almost 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for asking. Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Zainaba.
Did you learn anything surprising while researching Vietnam?
While researching, as in researching when I got here or researching while I was there?
Okay. Like,
No.
what is something interesting you learned about Vietnam's history? Anything else?
I learned that I did not know that Vietnam was. What
Mm.
did I? What? Wait. I have a point. 1 second. Let me think. I did not. Oh, I was very fascinated by the story of the Trung sisters. They were against the Chinese rule. So
Yeah.
that resistance happened after Trung Trac's husband was killed. So and they made an army mainly of women, and they rode
Mm.
elephants and battled with like most of them women. So it's like woman empowerment thing. So that was really fascinating for me. And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
bunch of like myth stuff, like legends and myths that we don't know if it's true or not, but all of them are interesting, such as the Lac Long Quan and Ao Ko myth, the myth that all Vietnamese people are descendants of two goddess, a dragon lord and a fairy goddess. So that is also an interesting
Mm.
legend
Yeah, yeah.
to talk about.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. Any more
Can I ask a
questions?
question?
Go ahead.
Uh, what is the most tallest statue in Vietnam?
Tallest tower?
Statue, like there's
Tallest statue.
yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I think this is the tallest statue, the Ling goddess statue, but let me just check just in case. Because this is one of the tallest. Mm. One second, let me just check. I need to make sure. Mm. The tallest statue of Vietnam is the Son Tay Buddha statue located at Quai Nguyen Pagoda. It is not this statue. This statue is the goddess of mercy, but the tallest statue in Vietnam is in Hanoi and it is the Buddha statue. So it's a statue of Buddha, of Buddha. It is 72 meters tall, which is just 5 meters taller than this one, which is like about 16 floors.
I have another one. Whilst Vietnam and China was doing a war, right? How long did it took? Like 6 years and all?
The war. How long the war? Okay, let me check. How long? The thing is, Vietnam was fighting for independence from China for like many years. Like I said, China was controlling Vietnam for thousands of years. So to gain independence, wait, the war of independence, I don't think it lasted that long. Um, Yeah, I think that time it was only like for 1 year or something. But during the Vietnam War, like the one that was recent, China supported North Vietnam and the United States supported the South Vietnam. So that is also there. But that one, that was in Vietnam against China. The one that was in 339 AD in the year 339. So we're not sure how long it was, but it was probably only for 1 or 2 years.
Thanks.
No problem. Any more questions?
Yeah, I do. But is it worth it going here to Vietnam?
Yes, it is worth it because, like, it is worth it because.
From the presentation.
Hmm? Okay.
You can see it's worth it. See, just looking at the presentation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just looking at this, I'm promoting Vietnam. It is not only culture, but if you're talking technical wise, it is also like I live in India, in Kerala. So compared to Kerala, Vietnam is also cheaper. So it is very fun to go everywhere and stuff like that. Yeah, you can just see in these presentations. And this isn't even everything. I only added some of these pictures. I have a lot more that I took. I was in Vietnam for 1 week. So there's a lot more beautiful places. If you get the chance to go, please visit Vietnam. It is has a beautiful culture.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What is the currency of Vietnam?
The currency of Vietnam is called a dong. It is a dong, And yeah, it is called a dong. And it is, for me, it was a bit difficult to calculate how much because in India, like India, one, wait, where are you from?
India.
The person who asked me. India. Okay. So in India, it's 1 rupee. One rupee in India is equal to 300 dong in Vietnam. So when you see the prices of Vietnam, it's all like big, big numbers. But actually, they're worth less. But yeah, because it is a 1 to 300 ratio, it was difficult for me to calculate the Vietnamese dong. Yeah, that is no problem. Question?
Okay. Okay, yeah,
Sorry?
just wait.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Uh, is this currency the like, shortest in value?
It's not the shortest in value. I think the shortest in value is this is Jamaican or like some African countries. This isn't the smallest because there is a lot more like smaller ones.
Yeah, I
But it
think
is
the currency, the weakest currency is from Zambia.
Zambia, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
because
so.
they have a trillion note of their currency, and it's only worth about 54 54 pennies in US dollars. And I
Wow.
think 100 pennies make a dollar.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Ah, that is a very interesting fact. Thank you. Okay, any more questions? Mhm.
Naura, do you want to ask any questions to them?
Uh, I don't think so. There isn't much to ask. I mean, like, there's one question I would like to ask, but there is an obvious answer to it. Would you, if you guys had the opportunity to visit Vietnam, would you do it?
yes.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go outside of India for once in my life, I guess.
Amazing. So yeah, I don't have any more questions. I just hope that everyone, you know, everyone found Vietnam's culture very interesting. It's all.
Definitely.
Somebody has raised hand.
Aisha Dina.
Aisha Dina, do you have any questions here?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, was Vietnam one of your favorite, like, place to visit, dream place?
Definitely. I the thing is, I didn't think much before I went to Vietnam. I didn't really, not that I didn't really care about Vietnam. It's like I never thought of going there. But then one day my dad was like, there is a chance we can go. Would you like to go? So I was like, sure, why not? I didn't think that it would be this interesting a country. Once I went there, when I came back, I only wanted to go back to Vietnam. So once I got here, I researched everything and I, you know, got more involved into the culture and it is very beautiful. So yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't my dream place, but I'm so happy that I went. I don't regret a thing. Thank you for the
Okay.
question.
So, what's your like? Do you have any next dream place to visit or something?
Hmm. Next dream place, there is a bunch of places I would love to go.